Face to face, guys.
Guys, let's shut this out.
Hello? Hello, please.
No, like I said, I'm not looking past this fight. This man is the objective, and this is the man to beat. So whatever happens next, we'll see that. But for now, the 23rd of May is what we're focusing on.
For me, it's not joking. When I have prepared, I not think about my opponents. Never. I study my opponents fight with my team. For me, it's like a boxing fight.
Usyk's got major advantages, as this is his profession.
Fight week has arrived, and both Oleksandr Usyk and Rico Verhoeven are locked in and ready to settle this crossover clash once and for all. About the fight, Usyk believes the Rico matchup represents a unique clash between two dominant champions from different fighting backgrounds.
Why is Rico the right fight for you right now?
Because it's the two worlds, boxing and kickboxing. Rico undisputed in kickboxing, I'm undisputed in boxing, but with two worlds. I think it's good for fans and challenge.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
At the same time, Rico considers the Usyk bout the biggest test of his fighting career and embraces the expectations surrounding it. Verhoeven insists criticism and skepticism only add more motivation as he prepares to compete on an entirely new stage.
Oleksandr Usyk, for me, this is the biggest challenge ever.
Life's about challenges.
Yeah, life is about challenges and looking for things that are uncomfortable. That's where I strive on. Like the feeling that, ooh, people don't expect you to win. Yes, I love that. I love that. You do not have to give me a chance to win. I give myself a chance to win. And that's just up to me to prove you guys wrong.
Adding to the discussion, Usyk views Rico as a serious threat because of his championship experience and long background in combat sports. Usyk believes fighters who spend years competing at the highest level and winning titles always bring real danger into the ring.
And Oleksandr, what makes Rico dangerous compared to your other past opponents?
Because as a fighter, it's world champion in kickboxing. Listen, all people who training more 5-10 years and who have belt and boxing and kickboxing is a dangerous guy.
Moreover, Rico believes the best way to improve as a fighter is by facing the highest level of opposition possible. Rico views the Usyk matchup as the kind of challenge need to measure where he stands at the elite level.
Exactly. Like I said, I never want to be comfortable and always try to look like, how can you outdo yourself? And how can you be the best version of you? You can only be the best version if you got the best version of somebody else across of you. And yeah, let's put that to the test. And especially with his, he got the nickname of the man that's unbeatable.
From Rico's point of view, the matchup with Usyk will become a highly tactical battle between two fighters who rely heavily on timing, strategy, and composure under pressure. Verhoeven views the contest as a collision of different fighting styles where intelligence and adjustments could become key factors inside the ring.
You and Oleksandr, how does that match up? Your style and his style?
I think it's gonna be a good clash because he's like a chess player within his game, and I'm like a chess player within my game. So I'm not gonna give too much away of what I'm gonna do, but I think that's where, clashes and worlds collide.
Continuing the breakdown, Malik Scott views that Rico must apply constant pressure and urgency from the opening moments. Scott argues that allowing Usyk too much time and comfort inside the ring could quickly create serious problems as the fight unfolds.
Rico is going against, to me, probably can be considered one of the best fighters of all time in every weight division. He can have some good moments. If I was him, I would go in with the Derek Chisora mentality, make Usyk rush his offense, don't allow him to think, because if Usyk is, if he allow you to think and give you time, that means he's going to destroy you. So it's going to be a long night for him.
Furthermore, Max Kellerman insists Usyk's performance will be judged largely by how legitimate Rico Verhoeven appears once the fight begins. Kellerman believes Usyk gains far more credibility if Verhoeven shows composure, skill, and enough ability to look like a serious test inside the ring.
I think a win for Usyk is if Verhoeven passes the eyeball test, like he shows up and we're like you say whatever you want about Floyd wasn't in shape for Conor McGregor, and he obviously wasn't.
Conor showed up.
But you could look at Conor and go, oh, pardon me,
Yes,
it's
right.
like that?
Yes.
Conor could fight. You could see he could box,
Yes.
right? If Verhoeven shows up and you can see, oh, wait a minute, he's okay. He can
here.
really box. And Usyk meets that and still dismantles him, that's a win for Usyk. But I think in order for Usyk to really win the event, it's somewhat dependent on how good Verhoeven looks like. Verhoeven has to look like he's a threat once the bell sounds.
Analyzing the matchup, Shady McCoy and Malik Scott argue that Usyk is bringing a far more forceful and damaging approach to this matchup. Both argue that Rico is not only facing Usyk's technical skills and ring IQ, but also a far more forceful, offensive version of the champion capable of applying relentless early pressure.
Usyk got to knock him down, and he got to stop him in the first 4 or 5 rounds. This is Usyk. It's not AJ, it's Usyk. And I think he is so levels apart from this guy. He needs to show that. And knowing him and watching him over the years, he don't play around. I think Tyson Fury was joking with him. There was no joking from Usyk's side.
Yeah.
He got to stop my man in 5 rounds.
I also feel, Max, that this Usyk right here is the most aggressive Usyk. This is the hardest punching Usyk of his whole career. And I think Rico is not just going against the pure boxer, the guy that have the musician lead, hand feints and everything. He's also going against a very violent Usyk.
On the other hand, Tony Bellew suggests Rico's size, unfamiliar approach, and combat sports experience could make the opening stages uncomfortable for Usyk. However, Bellew insists Usyk's adaptability, composure, and tactical intelligence will gradually allow him to take control as the fight settles into a boxing rhythm.
Rico Verhoeven is a problem. He's a problem, and we don't actually know much about him from a boxing perspective, but we know nothing really. He's had 1 bout and you cannot take anything from that at all. His kickboxing experience tells you an awful lot, but at the same time, Oleksandr Usyk is the problem that no one can solve. He is the puzzle that no one can figure out. And I think the same will apply to Rico Verhoeven in a boxing ring with him. If this was a kickboxing match, I'm trying to tell you, Alexander's in an awful lot of trouble. Do not take a kick off him. Thankfully for Oleksandr Usyk, this is a boxing match. And I think once them first 3 or 4 rounds pass, and that awkwardness and stance and style Oleksandr Usyk figures out, I think Rico could be in for a hard night's work.
Expanding his thought, Bellew views Usyk as a fighter who consistently thrives under pressure and difficult circumstances. Bellew explains that Usyk continues to perform at the highest level against elite opposition, yet many still underestimate what he has accomplished inside the ring.
Just go back to that night in terms of, from your perspective, just how impressive Oleksandr was.
He bullies the bully. He beats everybody at their own game. And the most impressive thing about it is, guess what? He comes to your patch as well. He's the only fighter in the history of the sport that goes to other people's backyards and beats everybody up on their own patch. Unfortunately, he done it to me as well. And nothing annoys me more than when I see fighters don't give him the credit he deserves. Because not only is he such an amazing fighter, he's a wonderful human being.
Despite that intrigue, Moses Atama believes Usyk has earned the right to pursue any challenge he wants at this stage of his career. However, Atama remains uncertain about Rico being placed into such a major opportunity so early in his boxing journey.
Oh man, Usyk, he can do whatever he wants, man. He's earned that right. But see, I don't like to use the word fair, but I don't think it should be allowed to fight for the world title. Obviously, like I said, Usyk's earned the right to do whatever he wants, but I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's correct for Rico to be able to fight for the world title in his first fight. That's just it's a bit crazy.
From a technical standpoint, Shane McGuigan describes Rico facing an extremely difficult challenge against Usyk because the difference in elite boxing experience and skill is simply too significant. Magwigan believes Usyk's timing, control, and understanding of the place him on a completely different level entering the matchup.
Yeah, I feel like there's levels to this game. As a kickboxer, he's always going to be up against the guy who's a master at boxing. I don't think he's got a chance at all.
Continuing the tactical breakdown, Teddy Atlas believes Rico's physical attributes and striking background could present a few early questions for Usyk inside the ring. However, Atlas views Usyk's technical control, adaptability, and experience at the elite level as major advantages that should gradually separate the two as the matchup develops.
What's Verhoeven's chances? I think slim and none, to be honest. I looked at film on him, and yeah, he's big. He's 6'6", 270. Fury was big too, but Fury was a professional boxer. This guy, as I said, he doesn't have that background. He stands straight up. He's had 76 fights. He's won 66. He's got 26 knockouts. He's not a huge puncher. You know, his best punch is the right hand. That can be effective against the southpaw. Usyk's a southpaw. That can be the southpaw killer. I get it. It's not going to be. Again, Usyk's too versatile, too good for him, his defense, his offense.
Furthermore, Atlas believes the direction of the fight could depend largely on how Usyk chooses to approach the matchup once he settles into range. Atlas suggests Rico's defensive habits and upright stance may give Usyk the freedom to either press the action aggressively or control the pace at his own comfort level.
I think it's going to come down to where Usyk, you know, it's up to him. If he wants to work with him and he wants to carry him, I don't know that anything that there was any agreement to that. I have no idea of that. But if it's going to be up to him, because what I've seen, like I just said, Verhoeven, he gets hit standing straight up. He's not easy to miss, to be honest. He's right in front of you, and it will just be. You know, it'll be Usyk's call, how he wants to go about. Does he want to go get rid of him, or does he want to box? And, you know, kind of enjoy the view a little bit.
From another perspective, Gabe Rosado believes Rico's unconventional movement and unusual punching angles could create awkward moments for Usyk early in the fight. Rosado suggests unfamiliar timing and unpredictable positioning can occasionally disrupt even the most experienced boxers inside the ring.
A guy that's so accomplished like Usyk, and then you're fighting a guy that is only his second pro fight, and he's doing a bunch of punching from weird angles. So it could be a little embarrassing because it's not the same, it's not the basic boxing style. Yeah, so you could probably get hit with weird shots that are coming from all crazy angles, him stepping off. So it could probably present complications for Usyk.
Continuing his thought, Rosado may approach Rico with a more direct and physical strategy, rather than relying heavily on technical adjustments. Rosado suggests that mindset could naturally create a rougher and more competitive fight than many people initially expect.
So it's like, this guy's not supposed to be in the ring with me, so I'm gonna just walk him down. So you kind of fall into the fight of McGregor. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And Usyk, if Usyk's doing his best tricks against this guy, it's like, why you gotta get in your bag with this dude?
So
you're
you
supposed to just walk him down and take him out.
You don't think
so it could kind of force you. It could force you into that kind of fight.
That's more competitive.
That's more competitive than it should be.
Let me force you into this question.
You're not on my level. I don't gotta do all this. I could just walk you down.
Additionally, Mike Coppinger views Usyk as still looking completely comfortable performing at the highest level, despite being deep into his career. Coppinger suggests Usyk's recent physical condition and overall sharpness continue to give the impression of a fighter operating with confidence, strength, and full control heading into another major challenge.
Hassan Rahman is fighting a prime Lennox Lewis. Verhoeven is not as accomplished a boxer as Douglas or Rahman. So do these odds suggest that Usyk is seen as more beatable than Tyson or Lewis?
That's a good question. You know, it's funny, right? Even though Usyk's 39, I feel like he's at the top of his game.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any slippage at all. I feel like and if you see the photos, it looks like Usyk put on a lot of muscle. I mean, this guy looks like a tank right now.
At the same time, Johnny Nelson argues that Usyk's focus and professionalism make him far less vulnerable to the kind of complacency that can affect major crossover events. Still, Nelson notes that heavyweight fights always carry uncertainty because a single moment can quickly shift momentum regardless of expectations.
If Usyk overlooks Rico Verhoeven, who's a dangerous fighter, how does it reflect on boxing?
It becomes the Wild West.
Well, it's always the Wild West.
It becomes the wild West. But in all honesty, do you honestly think that Usyk is the same mental capacity of Tyson Fury?
So we're saying it's a 99% to 1% that he wins the fight.
Without a doubt. So for him to make a Tyson Fury mistake, which we all you hear the rumors of his preparation for it, is this guy's proved that I'm a different kettle of fish. That's not me. I'm different gravy. So that's probably more than likely not going to happen. But as they say, one punch changes everything.
Continuing the debate, Wade Plemons views the Usyk and Rico matchup as an unusual crossover event rather than a standard heavyweight championship bout. However, Wade believes the contest still brings genuine intrigue because of the unpredictability surrounding two elite champions from different fighting backgrounds sharing the ring.
I did not expect this. I'd heard rumblings of Rico Verhoeven, coming over into boxing, potentially going over to MMA as well. It's a fun fight. It is not what you expect from the sitting heavyweight champion, but it's much like Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou from like 4 years ago now. It's a one-off entertainment show. That was called a circus at a time where we had never seen much of that stuff in the actual, like the sitting heavyweight champion of the world doing a crossover fight. That has become the norm in boxing, so I'm not so mad at the fight. In fact, I think the fight is going to be a fun one. I think Usyk's probably going to wash Rico, but hey, you never know.
Meanwhile, Luke Thomas believes reactions to the Usyk and Rico matchup have been heavily split across different audiences. Thomas suggests the event has sparked very different levels of interest and criticism across the combat sports landscape.
I don't have a strong reaction to it, but I have seen some strong reactions to it from two different groups. One, if you're on the MMA side of things, I tend to see a little bit more enthusiasm about this. I think most of the folks on the MMA side that I've seen, again, it's very anecdotal, I've not run research, they seem to like it quite a bit. On the boxing side, they're real unhappy. They don't like this one at all. So there's a big divide between the two. Why? Well, number one, as I just mentioned,
adding to the discussion, Showbiz the Adult believes Usyk has always been drawn toward different fighting disciplines and martial arts culture beyond traditional boxing. Showbiz suggests the Rico Verhoeven matchup represents the type of unique crossover challenge Usyk has wanted to explore for years.
Well, if you know Oleksandr Usyk the way I do, the guy is just one of those warriors. He always admired martial arts and mixed martial arts, dressing up like a samurai like that. Look at his training. His training is strange. And he said many times, him fighting an MMA guy or a karate guy or a kickboxer, that was something that he always desired.
Still, Showbiz views Rico as an extremely dangerous and physically imposing competitor with a dominant reputation in kickboxing. However, Showbiz emphasizes that translating that success into professional boxing presents a completely different challenge.
The kickboxing king, Rico Verhoeven. I looked up Rico Verhoeven, and that guy is an absolute beast, to be honest. He's a tank. He's a wrecking machine, a knockout artist. The guy's a monster. But in kickboxing, not boxing. So why would Oleksandr Usyk do something like that?
Oleksandr Usyk and Rico Verhoeven now move closer toward one of the most unusual and talked about crossover matchups in combat sports. With both champions carrying knockout confidence into fight week, the tension surrounding the clash continues to build as two completely different fighting styles prepare to collide under boxing rules. So what happens when Usyk's experience, timing, and ring IQ meet Verhoeven's size, pressure, and kickboxing pedigree? Can Usyk control another dangerous opponent? Or does Rico Verhoeven create the kind of problems many people are overlooking? Let us know your prediction in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more boxing coverage and fight breakdowns.